Tell me you're busy without telling me you're busy.
Yeah. I feel like this week's episode is going to be a lot kind of quicker, a lot more casual than last week's. I feel like we went a bit intense last week. So we're going to rein it in and we're just going to do a Q&A. We've had quite a lot of questions, like on Instagram, all sorts. So we've kind of compiled the ones that we think might be the most interesting for us to answer. Yeah, we're just going to get straight into it, I think.
I have once again got my iPad of truth. And we've actually got some pretty good questions on here. We had quite a few that were quite similar in nature based on the topics we've been talking about the past few weeks. But there's some really good ones in here, so I'm excited to see how this goes. Shall I just jump in and hit you with a question?
Fire it at me.
Okay, I love this question already. What's your opinion on portfolios? Do you need one?
Yes. In my opinion...
Agreed.
Yes. I have actually seen quite a few people recently say that you don't. And I'm just like, but how is anyone supposed to see your work? Because I think in like if I was to look, like in my previous job, like when I've looked for an event space to hire, I've like wanted to look at their portfolio to see what they've done. Or like if you have like an artist or a graphic designer, you want to see what work they've done. And I think in the creative space, a portfolio is really important. Because we can all say we're good creators, but how can you show that?
I think also, I think portfolio, I think maybe some people will get confused and say like, I have a website, great, that's a portfolio. Like somewhere where you can showcase what you do and kind of demonstrate your ability, but also demonstrate that you have worked with other brands.
Yeah.
And for me, like people will say to me, but no one ever asked me for my portfolio. I don't need to be asked. Yeah. It's linked in my email signature. And I will literally always say to them, I've linked my portfolio here and I make the here a link for you to review.
Yeah.
This should give you a really good feel for the style and quality of my work, because I find it really helps in price negotiations to say, like, look, I'm not giving you shitty content. Like, this is what I create. I'm really proud of it. The stuff in my portfolio, I keep my portfolio updated every single week pretty much. I will add new videos and take ones away.
Yeah.
So you don't have to ask me for my portfolio. I'm going to throw it in your face because I'm really proud of it and I think it speaks volumes. So
yeah, but I actually
a picture speaks 1,000 words, right?
Yeah, and I don't even think it needs to be like a website as such. Like even if it is your social media page and you've uploaded your like previous examples and like whether it's in a strategic way or not, as long as it showcases what you can do, you can class that as your portfolio.
So I think bottom line there for both of us is a big fat yes.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And it doesn't need to be a time consuming one. Like just as long as you've got something, I think it really matters.
I agree. Okay. How important is it to have a niche as a UGC creator?
I personally don't think you need to. I don't niche down personally. I don't think you do either, do you? I have like I'd say we both have like a selection of content that we tend to, maybe because we've done more of it, we get reached out for it more. But like, I'd say we're both kind of in like, you're more like the wellness, fitness, you know, like skincare realm.
Fitness, not really.
Sorry, Sweaty Betty. Hello.
I know. I know.
And yeah,
that was like my number one dream brand to work with when I started UGC. So I even still am now like,
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
so
sorry,
like we kind of have like, I guess, a niche realm that we're in. But I wouldn't say like we're not one specific niche each.
No, I think if you're being really authentic to yourself and only taking on projects and collaborations that really align with you and your values and your passions and your interests, you will naturally niche down.
Yeah.
But you don't need to have a singular niche.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like if you want someone to talk about like cars, I'm just not your girl. And if I get a car brief through, I need to see the script and I need to understand, is this going to come off in a way that feels in any way authentic to me? Because if not, and I look like a lemon, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And that I am very big on that. I've had like big brand deals come through for like vaping.
Yeah.
Things like that. And no shade to anyone who does vape, but I don't. And health is really important to me. Therefore, that just doesn't align.
Yeah.
So hard to say goodbye to the paycheck, but like... Like, no, me puffing on a vape, laughable. Hell, I'll be choking. I'm like, try the new flavour. Like, it will be so bad.
Yeah.
So I think you'll naturally niche yourself down if you are staying really authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
If you're not and you're more just about any and all, then do them all, baby. Do them all.
Yeah.
Might not look authentic, but do them all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can work both. I think it can work both ways though, because it's like, as humans, we don't just have one interest. Like, I might like
No, not at all.
skincare, but also I really like food. So, like, do you know what I mean? That's two niches without even trying. And then wellness kind of links into it all. So it's kind of like, I'd say yes and no. Like you say, I think we will naturally niche to what we like creating content about. But in terms of being like, I need to have one category and I sit in it, I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah, you're so right. Like, humans are multidimensional.
Yeah.
Therefore, for you to have a singular niche, that feels inauthentic in itself.
If anything, you're
I get it if you're
sabotaging
like
yourself, kind of, because you're like...
yeah. I think if you were an influencer and let's say you were a running girl, great, that's your niche.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you can't do a Whitney Simmons and have beauty and makeup and fashion also as part of your like identity and your brand. And so I would personally say you don't need to. I'd probably say you shouldn't. But I do think if you're being really authentic to yourself, you will naturally find yourself niching down to an extent.
Yeah, and it's also...
And I don't think that's a bad thing either.
Yeah, and I think also you kind of need to try the content to know if you enjoy doing it or not. So...
Yeah,
I think, everyone's different, but I don't think you necessarily have to.
Okay, question 3 on the iPad of Truth. Have you ever had brands ghost you after you've given them the content, and how did you handle it? Have you had that?
I don't actually think I have. I've been ghosted before I've delivered the content. But not...
outside of work, I've been ghosted many times. But no, joking.
No, I don't actually think I have. I'm very, like, I'm always one to, like, I'll watermark my content. Like, there's always a contract in place. So I feel like maybe the steps that I've taken have avoided that.
So do you watermark your content until you are paid?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. There's been some where no, because I'm like, there's a contract in place. I trust these people. And I've delivered it.
I don't watermark my content.
At all?
And I know I probably should, but I think because I'm so big on working with really established brands and not working with, I'm really, so I feel like I'm not often in what feels like unsafe territory, but that shouldn't actually change the process. I also think, I'm not sure, maybe that would be really interesting to get any feedback on.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, having done this for 2 years now, I have only ever been ghosted by a brand once who would not pay me.
After you delivered?
After I delivered.
Right.
And when I tell you, I was polite. By about email 5, I was I literally remember saying to them, it should not be this difficult to get hold of you.
Yeah.
Or to redeem payment, because they were saying it's coming. It wasn't, because then they eventually came back to me and said, okay, we're here. Anyway, I literally went on LinkedIn. I found the CEO of the agency. I emailed him. I said, I've been dealing with this person. Here is the email chain. Not acceptable.
Yeah.
etc. And within 3 hours, I had a payment come through and an apology email from the person I was talking to. Now, I would never, ever have done that if she hadn't given me very good reason to do that. It was really poor. And it was a lot of money. And I just thought, this is shocking. So, yeah.
I think that's a 10 out of 10 way to do that.
Maybe I shouldn't. I mean,
it got you a result. 100%.
It was an agency. Second word, media.
Okay.
Not Hamby. I will say that, because I know that's the name that jumped straight to mind. It's not Hamby Media. It's someone else media.
Okay.
Very big established agency. Winner of best agency in wherever, Manchester or something. Big brands. Went to the CEO.
Love that.
3 hours. Boom. On my sunbed in Turkey. Cha-ching.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Let's have a lovely day. So, that's how I deal with it.
That is brilliant.
I refuse to be ghosted. It won't happen. So anyway, that's what I mean when I say we don't go down without a fight, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
When people are like, is this too nice? I'm like, yep. Let me rewrite it for you. Let me get it sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. Okay. Question number 4. This is a good one, actually. How do you stay organised when juggling multiple brand deals? I don't. No, Cry?
No, do you know what? I think actually at the point I'm at the moment, I don't think I've really had to deal with it too much.
Okay.
I've dealt with it in terms of like doing it alongside a full-time job, and that is...
Yeah.
Like, I don't cope very well when I did that.
I don't feel like you're giving yourself enough credit, you know? You've balanced doing this for 2 years alongside a full-time job. Don't pretend that you haven't had to juggle huge amounts of work UGC and otherwise, like you absolutely have.
Yeah, I mean, there were times
and it's
where
so
I was
much
like
harder
at
when you're
breaking
working for someone
point.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely been a roller coaster. But like in terms of being full time and brand deals specifically, I actually I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I just manage my time quite well. I don't know. I tend to have like designated days. So like I try to stay on top. I think if I didn't, I'd get really overwhelmed. I think that's the problem. So like I'll have like a day, maybe like at the start of the week. I always like Monday as an admin day actually. I quite enjoy a Monday because I'm like, right, get my week organised. And never did I ever think I'd be in a position to say I really enjoy a Monday. And yeah, so I just kind of like, I take that day, kind of look at what I've got already planned. Obviously like emails can come through, like brand deals can be quite quick turnarounds, that can all change. But yeah, I just try and organise it from the beginning of the week. So like I'll have a day, I'll be like, right, Wednesday, look at the weather, I'm filming this day. And then anything I've got, so then I know like Tuesday, for example, I can spend the morning scripting, writing a like shot list.
Yeah.
And then like that way I've kind of got it already in advance. And a shot list is something I will always say, do it, because otherwise you spend so much time just like trying to get all these different shots and then you only end up using the ones that you initially wanted anyway.
Luna says amen, sister. It's okay.
So Aimee, once you finish your toast,
go.
How do you stay organised? Do you?
Gotta be honest, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I've got so much work to do on this. I don't do shot lists.
You don't?
No.
Do you just wing it?
I've done this. I
feel like you know what looks good
so
on
many
camera.
projects.
So you maybe don't need to.
I feel like when you've been doing it for so long and for so many projects, you already know the shot list.
Okay.
What I would say is I do always have excess footage. So I obviously haven't entirely nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
But I always know I'm going to get this shot. I'm then going to get it on 2 times the same shot. I'm going to get this shot.
Yeah.
I always know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I've just got so much work to do when it comes to organisation. I am not naturally an organised person. I need structure, but I'm not good at implementing it.
Mm-hmm.
Currently in the process of getting diagnosed with ADHD. That explains a lot. But for me, I have to plan the week. And I can't plan anything in my diary before 12 lunchtime.
Okay.
Which sounds really bougie. But the way my brain works and the way that I've got to say it's suspected, I guess at this point, ADHD presents, I really struggle with like overwhelm and freezing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays it's very important that I don't plan anything until 12. And I know you get those people who get up at like 5 a.m. every day and shoot 8 videos before 6 a.m. Incredibly jealous of that. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything I do before 12 is a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's actually more about the things around the like routine. Does that make sense? That will keep me productive.
Yeah.
And that is getting up in the morning and exercising, for example, will mean that by 12, I have come through that overwhelm and now I'm in a much clearer headspace to balance all those projects and tick and follow this plan that I've made meticulously for myself in the afternoon. So planning and then understanding how I work and like building my life around that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a very strange answer to what is a really simple question, but hopefully it makes sense.
I feel like that just shows different people are organised in completely different ways. Like.
Oh yeah, entirely.
Yeah.
Entirely. And I think that's what's so incredible about, you know when you get yourself in a bit of a funk because you think, oh, for God's sake, like it's 10 a.m. I haven't done anything yet. I was meant to film 10 videos. Blah, blah, blah. The reality is like not everyone, the 9 to 5 like structure doesn't serve everyone.
Yeah.
Not everyone thrives in that environment and on those timings. I am naturally an afternoon, evening, like night owl. That's me.
Yeah.
And so many people in a 9 to 5 job would kill to have the flexibility to say, I'm not doing any work until 12 because it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do a food shop. I'm going to get my hair cut. And then I'm going to crack on at 12 o'clock. So many people would kill. So whenever I have those moments where I feel a bit wobbly and I think, oh my God, I haven't done anything. I've got so much to do and I haven't done anything yet. I just remember that's because my work day starts a little bit later because I'm in this beautiful position where I'm in charge of my own timings.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a bit of a shift there in mindset.
Yeah, I'm definitely still in I've said this to you a few times, I think, like where I'm so fresh out of like being so like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, like if I'm not productive in the morning, I'm just like, it's just instant guilt. And I'm like, well, obviously like, I'm not going to get anywhere if I'm not doing anything. But then I'll work like until 9 p.m, which I wouldn't do in a 9 to 5 anyway. So it's like, it's just finding balance.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you don't need to feel guilty because you haven't got up at 5 a.m. because another creator has. Like, just do whatever makes you the most productive and works for you.
Also, why 9 to 5? Well, because we decided at some point in time that offices would start, for the most part, at 9 and would shut at 5.
Yeah.
We built that, we made that rule.
Yeah.
Let's make a new one.
Yeah.
I don't start until 12.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I've done it. And I'm going to spend that time, as I say, I'm going to go to PT, or I'm going to go to therapy, or I'm going to do the food shop, or I'm going to have an everything shower and blow dry my hair. I'm going to do whatever the bloody hell I want because I'm in charge now. And that is
the beauty of what we do.
It's the beauty. So don't feel guilty if you're not. And equally, if you're someone who thrives at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
and you get up and you go to the gym and you then smash out some videos so you can finish earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they weren't going to let you in the office at 5 in your old job, were they? So jump on it.
Yeah.
Like, if that's how you work best, get in there, get going.
Yeah.
Love that for you. Whatever feels right for you. And leaning into that will allow you to be your most productive self.
Yeah. I sometimes get my best ideas at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So.
Are you asleep or are you awake?
Awake. Yeah, my sleeping pattern is like not with me at the moment. So yeah, no, I need to get back on track.
She's not in the room.
No.
Yeah, can relate. Okay, next question. Have you ever turned down a brand deal, and if so, why?
Yes, and one comes straight to mind, because it just went completely against what I stand for. Like, I'm not going to do a video because I'm being paid to do it if it goes completely against my like ethical beliefs. Like I was reached out to it was on Fiverr actually, and this is another reason why I don't bode well with that platform, just because you get some really strange requests on there. I think it was an app, it was like a newly launched app or something, and it was all about promoting, so it was basically a platform that you could go onto so that you could cheat on your partner without them knowing. And like the video was to promote this app. Bear in mind, like I'm in a healthy and happy relationship, and they were like, God. You need to be you need to be okay with, like, oh my God, what is the
cheating?
Word? Being unfaithful. And I was like, okay, not going to work for me. Sorry.
Also, you know, UGC is going to be real customers, is what we're trying to create the vision of, right? Like, I'm a genuine user of this app, in which case you would not plaster yourself all over the internet saying, I'm cheating on my partner and you can too. That's not the nature of what you're talking about. That's so wild to me.
I wonder if they ever found someone to do it.
It's also weird you said that because I'm sure there was a... Yeah, one of the questions was, what do you do when brands ask... what do you do when brands ask you to create content for products or services that you don't believe in? Well, you don't do it by the sounds of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't do them personally, but
no, 100%. Like I have said no to more deals than I've said yes to in my entire career, 100%. For lots of different reasons. If they're not paying adequately, if it doesn't feel like it aligns with me and my values, if I don't think I'm going to be able to carry the message, like if you want me to talk about football, I'm not your gal.
Yeah.
If you want me to talk about football from a standpoint of I know nothing about it and I'm learning, I can be that. Do you know what I mean? Like I've said lots of things like that. I've said previously that I've been approached for things like vape brands. Doesn't align with me. Doesn't align with my my health focus. No. But I've also had things come through that massively go against my own beliefs. Specifically, things that have very sexist language in the script.
Right.
I will then ask them to amend it. They will push back. That means we're not having the same conversation.
Yeah.
Things that are very focused on diet culture. Yes, I will do things like greens powders, but I'll be really careful with the script. You know, I'll push back if we're talking too much about bloating, for example. Bloating's okay. Like, I don't want to demonize it. I'm really big on that sort of stuff. But the worst one I ever had was someone say that they wanted me to help their supplement brand, which focuses on promoting or restoring traditional femininity and masculinity. When I looked into it, it was a supplement brand for men focused around testosterone. I go back to them and I say, not sure what you want me to do with this. I'm not a man. What's the crack? And he said, well, actually, we're bringing out our first supplement for women. and it's all about promoting traditional femininity. So I said, what does that mean? And he said, it's a weight loss tablet. And I sent the shittiest email I have ever sent to anyone, saying how unfortunate that you think the definition of femininity includes anything, like has anything to do with a woman's weight and appearance. And I said to him, like, I think you should like drastically rethink your position here, and like you have
Sassy
clearly not
Aimee
researched
comes
who
back
I am. I was absolutely livid. I was, how dare you reduce me to my weight? Like, I really went, and don't get me wrong, he wasn't a particularly positive person to speak to in the first place, so I just slam dunked him. So yeah, if it doesn't meet my beliefs, I think we've got a pretty good feel for who I am at this point. We don't do it, and we don't just say no thank you, we feed back.
Yeah, the thing is though, like it's our face at the end of the day that is gonna potentially be in this ad for up to however many years that they promote it for. So like, if you don't stand for it,
and that's
like,
why that things like
it's going to embarrass
and...
at the end of the day, because it's going to be online for everyone to see. Like, there's no putting a filter on who sees that.
Also, like,
imagine if my boyfriend got an ad about like being unfaithful.
Yeah, or his mates. Is this your girlfriend promoting like?
Yeah,
this is a much big Or if you promote a weight loss, if you give someone long-term usage rights or usage rights in perpetuity, you're promoting some weight loss thing. You know, I know my views on my body and my weight and weight loss itself have changed dramatically over the past 10 years. Dramatically. I was the girl drinking booty when I was 18 years old. If you know, you know. Millennials, let me hear you. Because, but would I be caught dead promoting that now? Oh my God, no. Like, I do not want to be associated with that. I do not believe in that. You do not need to do that. So if you give someone long-term use rights, not only are you talking about what it means for you right now, but also what does it mean for you in the future when your views inevitably change? Or what happens when the product you're talking about, there's a big scandal with the brand? Or, you know, look at Pink Honey, for example, where they had that whole like racist allegation about their brand trip. I say allegation, they didn't have any diversity on their brand trip, and got called out for it, rightly so. You know, your face could forever be associated with something like that. So you've got to be very careful. So if it doesn't align, we don't do it.
Yeah, I think that's why we're both very cautious of like selling like long-term usage rights like over a certain period of time, because like everything can change so much. Yeah, and also I think if you don't believe in something, like that's going to come across in your content. Like, it's not going to be the best that you can make it if you don't believe in it.
Yeah, I always have people say to me, like, so your job is to lie. And I say, well, if you want to play that game, if you want to have that discussion, my job is to act, you know? And my job is to read a script. But beyond that, I am really protective of what I am saying. And I will always push back on brand scripts if I feel it's necessary.
I'm the same. Like, if I don't believe in it, I'm not going to promote it, because that's people's money at the end of the day. Like, I'm not going to...
100%.
Go out of my way to talk about something that I don't believe in just so I get paid, because then these people might waste their money on something that I don't even believe in, and then
100%. And also, like, there's a particular brand that I work with a lot, and it's a male business owner, and he's great, and he's writing scripts for a product that is focused on women. And I just went back and said to him, like, he's actually now letting me write scripts for him, because which is amazing. Like, he's great, but because I said, and I'm going back to him for the first few projects, he was writing the scripts, and I kind of went back and said, as the person who would be watching this ad and you're wanting to buy this product, that makes me feel like crap about myself, basically. I didn't say that, but you know, I get your focus on skincare, for example, and wanting to age a certain way, but can we change the wording? Because you're making it sound like aging is bad. You're making it sound like I should prevent aging, like it's a terrible thing. I don't want to be a part of that, you know. And you'll know straight away if it's a brand you want to work with, because this guy was like take it away, like do your thing. Like I'm not the right person to. He was great, and so now I think that says a lot when you push back on a brand and says this makes me feel uncomfortable. This doesn't align. Their response will tell you everything you need to know. We really went off on that one, but that was kind of 2 questions in one. That was a good one. Interesting. How do you stay consistent making content whilst also managing your personal life?
I'll let you answer that one.
I don't. No, no, that's not true. I always remember someone saying to me, if someone puts a meeting in your diary, you turn up for that meeting. So put things in your diary for yourself and turn up to that meeting. So that is something I try to live by, but it is really bloody difficult when you're self-employed because you can very easily say, can we just bump that, or I'll just do it tomorrow, or that's no problem, I can get that done another time. It's really easy. So really trying to set space for myself and protect that space. I also think when I'm planning out my month, because I do that, I have a wall planner, and it's only because I'm a very visual person and I need to be able to see what I've got going on in terms of like events and social things. I will make sure that in a different colour, always different colours, in a different colour is like Aimee, social, me, selfish time, whether that's on my own or with people, is scheduled in. Because then I build my whole life around it. So for me, it's all about that monthly planning and scheduling in protected time for myself. Is probably the best bit of advice I could give. But I'm not good at it. I'll be the first person to say it.
Look at last week's podcast, for example. I'm joking.
100%. Did you hear that? Lulu just goes,
Oh.
She's never done that. That's so funny. Yeah, really hard. How do you balance it all? Do you balance it all?
I feel like at the moment I'm at a place where, I'm balancing it like just fine. Again, I'm a calendar gal, so I've got like my Google Calendar in my phone that I will always like refer back to. I feel like I'm kind of similar. Like as long as I've got it written somewhere, like so that I can see it, I don't really have any problems. Like there's always going to be crossover.
Yeah.
But I also think because I'm obviously still so fresh out of the 9 to 5, like in my head I'm like, right, work does take priority, but also I'm trying to unwind that and be like, no, but if I want to do this, then I can, and that's okay. So I'm kind of in a bit of a mindset shift. So it might all change.
Yes, an adjustment, isn't it?
Yeah. So at the moment I'm quite organised and like work prioritised, but like also I don't really have any advice to give on that one, to be honest, because I feel like I'm still learning myself.
I also think having like a morning routine and an evening switch off time, because it's very easy when you do a job like this one to always be on, but that will lead you to burn out. And even when you think you're not on, because maybe you're not filming or you're not editing or you're not on your phone, if you are always thinking about content and you're watching that and you're thinking that's a really cool transition, sorry, that's the TV, if you're watching the TV and you're thinking that's a really cool I could do that, and you're okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? And if you are constantly on, and actually it's about, like I said to you the other day, didn't I, on FaceTime, get off of all socials. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Don't even go on your private social for the rest of the day. Like, go and have a bath, read a book, go and immerse yourself. Actually switch off, because if you're thinking about it, you may as well be working. And there was times in my corporate job, but I remember distinctly, I woke up at like 3 a.m, couldn't get back to sleep, and I remember thinking to myself, you are sat here basically working in your head, so go to work. And I turned up to work at 4 a.m. and just started working, which is not a good thing, but it was very much like, you can sit here and you can think about it and worry about it until it's time to go. Or you can say, I'm not going back to sleep now, I'm too stressed, I'm going to go do it. So, boundaries.
Yeah.
Last question, Aimee, with the 2 E's. Obviously, a few weeks ago, we spoke about gifted and, gifted collaborations and UGC rates, like payments. Someone's put, basically, what are our thoughts on beginner UGC rates? What should they be? I've got quite a big opinion on this. You go first.
I mean, I think we already kind of covered this in the sense, like, gifted should not be the minimum. Like, I think they're asking what is the minimum, because I said in that podcast there needs to be a minimum wage kind of idea, and they're basically saying what is the minimum wage. Well, I would say, since we've both started, I think even back then, £150 has always been the base rate. Like, that's what I started at. I think, did you start at that?
No.
You didn't?
No, I started higher.
Oh, interesting. I have always seen it as being £150. But I do know that now there are so many people saying that it should be like 75 to 100, and then like once you've got a bit more experience, up it. And I'm just like, no, you're underselling yourself from the get-go, because there is so much that goes into a UGC video, like the planning, the time, like the getting ready, the like filming, the editing, putting it all together.
Yeah.
Like the mental preparation should also be accounted for in that rate. Because like I sometimes get messages and it'll be like, oh, but this is only a small project, we don't need you to do any editing. I'm like, okay, but I still need to plan it, I still need to shoot it, I still need to get ready for it. Like there is still so much that goes into it. So I do feel like there has to be, I would say minimum £150, but I'll let you dive a bit deeper.
Well, because I don't even think it's about you said a second ago, so much time and effort goes into like absolutely, like the value of the actual thing itself is more than £75. If you also take the £75 value, take 20% off tax.
Yeah.
What's that? 60 quid?
Something like that, yeah.
So always keep that in mind when you're talking about rates. I think let's go back to the building concept, because when I spoke about that builder analogy in that episode, I had quite a few comments and like messages saying that really like that resonated, and it kind of made me switch my view on it. So I think that was quite a good one to use. So let's go back to that. I don't think you would not start laying bricks and charging people for it until you had got your qualification and proven your ability to lay bricks. You know, you don't just, I don't rock up to a building site and say, all right, lads, give us a shovel. I don't even know if that's what they use. I'm going to lay some bricks. I'll charge you this amount, because I haven't got the basis to do that.
Yeah.
So I think when you're looking at something like UGC, have you done your qualification? Have you learnt to lay bricks? Have you spent the time and the effort? And have you demonstrated? Have you created content that is engaging, that is high quality, that is edited well, that could convert? And I appreciate that you can't get experience without experience.
Yeah.
At the same time, you can get experience, just minus the brands.
Yeah.
You can make the video. And so with that in mind, I think when it comes to then payment, the minimum wage, it's not up for discussion to me. Like £150 base, and that is no usage.
Yeah.
I really strongly feel that, because and I understand we have to be flexible. And I understand that if you're new, you're gonna, you should be accepting a lower rate, but the value of the asset itself is no less than £150.
Yeah, and also you have to factor in like how much money that video could make the brand.
Oh, huge!
Like there is like huge potential on some, like if it's an ad, it could bring in thousands to a brand.
More than that, yeah.
Yeah.
And, like one of my second ever ad that I worked on was for Real Superfoods. That was one
Targets
of my first
me
ever
every
paid
single
clients.
day.
Sorry guys, I love them. They love me. It is what it is. No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. But that was my second ever brand deal, I think. And that ad it's number one, it's bad. Now, I showed someone the other day and I was like cringing. They were like, it's not that bad. But when you
what do you mean it's bad?
My second ever brand deal was Real, and it was that there's gaps between the voiceovers.
Right, with you.
The clips are too long. You can hear me saying a voiceover all in one piece instead of doing it in little clauses.
Yeah.
It makes me blah, blah, blah. But it was running for like a year and a half, I think. Yeah. Because it obviously did really well. So that is to say, even when you are charging less and you're less experienced, and a UGC asset can still be exceptionally valuable. Because I look at that now and think that is rubbish, but it obviously was doing something for them.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
otherwise they would be paying to run it. It's expensive to run an ad. It is really expensive to run an ad for a business. So if they're still running it all that time, it must be doing something right. So I just think, that the asset is always worth minimum. So I would probably agree with you, 150 quid minimum, but that is no usage in my opinion.
Yeah, and I just think we should keep the same mindset as like we said before, there is a minimum wage in like corporate jobs. There's
every other job.
A minimum wage for everyone. And like you wouldn't apply for a job for a really high salary if you don't have the experience per se. But yet once you gain that experience, you then have the right to up your rates. Like it works the same as you earn more once you get a little bit more experience. But even so, you would never go below minimum wage. Like, you wouldn't accept a job even if you had no experience for less than minimum wage because it's not legal. So, like, it's the same kind of mindset that we just need to stick to. This is what our work is worth minimum, and then we build from that.
Yeah, I totally agree. So in answer to your question, I haven't put names of who asked these, but in answer to your question, I think we've both agreed that 150 is probably the absolute base.
Yeah.
But I think that you shouldn't even be charging for a video, and I don't think you should even be going to brands and expecting them to pay you until you have got a bank of content,
knowledge.
until you've learned to bricklay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
I really strongly feel that. So anyway, those were some really good questions, actually. I enjoyed that. That was really fun. We should do another Q&A episode. I really liked this.
Yeah. Okay. If you do have any questions, then feel free to send them over on Instagram DM or leave them as a comment, however you want to reach us. But we'd love to do one of these episodes again, I think, because that was really fun, and just we got talking about a whole bunch of different topics. So yeah, if you have any questions, send them over. We'll be happy to answer them. And I think that's it for this week's episode. That was a quick and easy one.
I'm liking how at the moment we're like alternating between like a heavier, more informative episode and then a lighter hearted, because I think it just is a nice balance, you know. And when you have those days in the office, for example, or in your friendship groups, when you have like a DMC and you really get into the nitty gritty or something and you walk away feeling like so good for it, and other days you just chat crap in the office all day, like or in the coffee shop. I feel like we've got a nice little balance of that going on. So let's keep it going. I'm loving it.
Yeah, absolutely. We will be back here at the same time next week, and we hope you will be too.
Love you, bye.